Hey, yo, what's poppin'? I'm Chad, and this is Comic Book Core Friday night. Ain't no night like Comic Core night. So, hey, let's dive right into the panel. We got the first up. He's the eyebrow-raising, pie-eating, jabroni-beating, step on the gas, he's going to kick your ass, none other than Carson C. Woodard, 19.
Hey, yo. I'd be here. Another phenomenal week in comic books entertainment. Got a chance to go to a con last weekend. Got my contest ending tomorrow. We got a lot to talk about, so let's get going.
Next up, he is a quarter. He's a quarter of Blasted and Stash It, but he's from the Charm City. He will cook your barbecue, and he's looking for a pair of shoes. None other than Drew Manchu.
Always looking for shoes. Fantastic week in books. A lot of great releases from the big two. We got some great stuff from Dark Horse with Black Hammer Age of Doom. Love and Days of Hate came out this week. All kinds of great stuff. Wolverine is back, but all anybody wants to talk about is Batman's Dingle Dangle. So let's see what happens tonight.
He's the presser with the he's the Midwest presser. He's the best in the game. He'll clean your book. He'll shine it. He'll turn that sumbitch sideways. And that's my one. He's Midwest comic book man.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for showing up. Like everybody said, we got a lot to talk about tonight. So let's get it going.
And the creator of Niobe Comics, we are happy to welcome him to the panel. None other than LP.
Hey, man. It's good, man. It's been a cup of coffee since I've been on the show, and I'm ready to rock, and I'm ready to get into all the weekly picks. And of course, we have alluded to what's hanging above all our heads. We'll be talking about that and so much more, man. I'm ready.
He is the 20-time world champion, 16-time tag champion, 5-time intercontinental champion, the host with the most, the king of the auction, the live pay-per-view reviewer, none other than the great legend.
Man, it's always good to spend the Friday night with the Comic Core. Man, great brothers and sisters. Who could ask for any more? Let's get it started.
And I will say congratulations because this guy is the hottest thing on YouTube right now. Bueller.
What's going on, everybody? I'm excited to talk about penis tonight.
Here we go.
let's just get it out of the way because it's all on our minds. It's in our hearts. It's in our souls. This is a sausage fest panel. Let's get the ball rolling.
Both balls.
But hey, first off, we got to dive into. I have a special PSA announcement to the comic book community. None other than Austin 316 Seawood.
What? Anyway, I did this on my channel, but I kind of wanted to do it here too because I did buy one big boy book this week. Not this one, but anyway, here I have DC Superstars of Magic number 11. I've been looking for this one for a minute. Really awesome. I think this was the first cover appearance of Zatanna. I thought when I bought this, it was a beautiful book. Luckily, I'll be honest, I didn't pay that much for it, but it's one I kind of consider paying a few bucks for. But anyway, bought this at a convention last Saturday, and as I got home, I rebagged it. And I took it out of the bag. I'm like, man, this is such a nice looking book. Oh, crap, that's not good. So I noticed that if you guys look at the spine, it looks pretty nice. But if you investigate the back cover, there is no back cover. So, yeah, not the best. So kind of just, if you're buying big boy books out there, or just buying like anything over like 10, 15 bucks, take it out of the bag, take a look at it. If the seller doesn't want you to take it out of the bag, you probably need to pass on the deal. Luckily, this was, I think I paid all $4 for it, so big deal. I got a good deal on She-Hulk at the same time, so I don't feel like I'm shorted that much. But this is one I almost did pull the trigger and pay $20 for a high-grade copy on eBay because I wanted this book that much. But this, I don't even know how they cut that like perfectly, so it looks good on the front like that. And there's no back cover, period. So it's been trimmed like right here. So I've just never seen a book like that before.
That's a dick move, man.
I know.
I'll press it for you, fix it right up.
All do is magic on it. So at least that helped me in my experience. So when I bought this bad boy this week and got it for a good price, I made sure to take it out, put it on the counter, make sure it had the Marvel value stamp. So I know it's kind of like apples and oranges. This obviously isn't a big boy book when this is, but after buying this and seeing this, when I saw this on someone's wall, I'm like, I want that, but I'm going to look at it first and make sure it's what I want before I spend the money. So that's kind of my mini PSA for the week.
How about now?
The more you know.
So, Paul, have you ever seen anything like that? Has anybody asked you to press anything like that?
No, I mean, I pressed a book this week that had the Marvel value stamp out of it, but I've never. I mean, usually if it's a book is coverless, it's coverless all the way around.
Have any of you had a chance to get a book like that? I mean, you guys, we all collect, and Bueller, you're digging in those 50-cent bins. I mean, what's the worst book that you guys have ever bought or damaged-wise that you had to have because it just wasn't in your collection?
I look at it and condition has never been an issue for me. I don't really care about the condition, but the one thing I do look for is a cover. So, and honestly, if the back cover is ripped or whatnot, I don't really care for that. I don't care if it's like that either. But if it's missing, that's a whole other ball game. But like I just showed this book before we started, and like this is my Secret Wars number 8, and there's literally a chunk missing on the cover. A lot of people would pass on this, but for me, it's perfectly fine. I check it off my list, and I probably wouldn't buy another one because I consider me having this book now. So,
well, I mean, we gotta give a shout out to the chat. We got Scotty in the house. We've got Rich the Third. We've got the queen of the comic book community, Miss Hustle herself. We got the Wonk, Brenton S. And then our brother from the panel who is slinging drinks and being a bar back for the last Friday. He'll be joining us next week. Comics Misexplained. Hey, what's up, Jason? We got Count Von Strange, Tacoma Comics, and Popcom. We'll keep on going. I'm sure we missed some, and we'll keep on going. But next up, we've got to ask Drew Manchu. What was your pick of the week, bro?
Man, my pick of the week, hands up and then back down again, is Black Hammer, Age of Doom, number 5. Every time I think that this story's twists and turns cannot get any better. It changes my mind and surprises me again. Jeff Lemire is building a great world over at Dark Horse Comics with Black Hammer. There's a bunch of different tertiary titles that are all tied together. It's fantastic. I can't say enough good things about it. And in a day and age where we're getting dinguses and Wolverines coming back to life and Captain America is being spliced together with Sorcerer Supreme, Black Hammer just stands out head and shoulders above the rest. I absolutely loved it. I think everybody should be reading Black Hammer.
Anybody else read Black Hammer? Got an opinion?
But the series has been fantastic.
Travis?
I've read a few of them and I've enjoyed them. I'm not up to date on some of the current things, but for the ones I did read, I really enjoyed it. And in my local shop, the owner of the shop, it's his favorite book. Every time it comes out, man, it's the first thing he grabs, and he just loves it. It's actually his number 1 selling book that he has on the shelf. So it's getting a lot of attention. It's well deserved.
I certainly couldn't delve into the plot without being extremely spoilery for issue number 4, because things have really ramped up. It's one of those books that, for 2 arcs kind of holds a mystery for you. And then in the middle of the 3rd arc, they're kind of unfolding everything all at once. And I could not be happier about the way this is coming about. It's really great stuff. Dean Ormston does the great art in there. Dave Stewart's doing inks on that and colors. And Jeff Lemire is doing a great job writing this story, man. Everything he touches over Dark Horse so far has been pretty much gold. Loved all of the Black Hammer spinoffs so far. Dr. Star was amazing. So he really can't do any wrong on this stuff, man. and I'm absolutely loving it. Anybody who's into comic book tropes from the Silver Age or Golden Age, really find something in Black Hammer to sink your teeth into, because any sort of comic book cliche has been addressed, and it's pretty badass stuff.
So we're gonna jump right back into the chat. We got Vincenzo C is in there. Stay Puff 1983. We also have Comics Addiction, and I saw
we got Points of Light Production. He's a personal friend of mine checking it out tonight as well. So shout out to you.
So guys, if you have anything that you want us to talk about, throw it in the chat. Even if you want to say hi and you want to be on the show, continue to throw it in the chat. We'll add after the show. Add everybody's descriptions, links in the bios will be done. Next up, we're going to start from the end. We're going to bring it into our guest. We're going to slow burn, slow crawl. We'll start out with Bueller. What do you got for us this week, bro?
So my pick of the week is going to be the book that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So I'm going to bypass that. But I'm going to go ahead and show you my pick as far as there's a couple covers that I really enjoyed this week. And I got one for DC and one for Marvel. And my DC cover, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm just going to show you the cover, was this Justice League number 8 with the Joker face on the front. I just love that close-up artwork. It's just fantastic. So even though I don't buy a lot of Justice Leagues, I had to pick it up. And honestly, DC is killing it with these B covers. Yeah, every DC B cover is off the charts.
I've absolutely loved a lot of their B covers, and there's been some surprise covers too. So I couldn't agree more with you. I actually like that particular book that you read because they're taking some low A, low B villains, and they're making them into something amazing. Like what they're doing with Cheetah and Black Manta, and what this Pearl is. I mean, it's I'm excited to see the direction where this is going.
Yep. I got one more.
What's that?
I got one more.
Yep.
Okay. As far as Marvel goes, as far as a really great cover, this is that Amazing Spider-Man annual. Just fantastic looking. This is by far my favorite Marvel cover this week, and I wanted to show that off. And my comic shop, they actually didn't show up on New Comic Book Day. They got it in this afternoon, and I ran down and picked it up because I wanted to show it on tonight's show. So that's my pick as far as the covers go. And like I said, we'll get into my pick of the week later on in the show.
And then the 20-time world champion. What do you got for me, big bro?
Man, let me tell you, I looked what I like to do, what I've kind of started doing. I haven't really paid much attention to what books come out this week. I normally get my books monthly, so it's just whatever I get in the box is what I ordered 2 months ago. But to make sure I wasn't going to miss anything, I watched Bueller's video on Tuesday, the September 19th new comics sneak peek. And those are really good videos, Bueller. And I watched that, and I saw some that I was interested in. I saw Injustice 2, and I think I saw the Masters of the Universe versus Injustice, but I'm holding off on those because I buy those in hardback. So I didn't really get any new books or read any books this week, but I have been keeping up with the news, and I'm eager to give my points of view on some of our topics later in the show. So
there's a great I put out the new video for the 26th. I put that out yesterday morning. And there is a great
peek.
Yeah, there's a great B cover for the final Venom First Host issue. It looks awesome. If you guys are reading that series or whatnot, it's okay series. But the cover for the B cover for Venom First Host number 5, it looks great. Pick it up.
Awesome, man.
Nice.
Bueller does the work, so you don't have to.
Well,
into that, man.
If you get behind on your books and you need to see what you missed, this is kind of the stack after you watch Bueller's video. Yeah. Because I watched 2 weeks ago of Bueller's video, and I am broke. So
I get that a lot. I actually feel kind of bad.
With that being said, we got the best presser in the game. he's got 2 covers to show because guess what? He hasn't read them.
Well, I don't read any new books till the weekend, but so I'll do my two great older covers of the week. And first we'll do Avengers number 16, which was the
that's nice.
Ooh.
one of I think that was like the 3rd team when they introduced the new bigger team. And then we got Steranko at his finest with Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. number 6.
Nice.
Wow.
That cover.
I loved his covers for Nick Fury. They were awesome.
Now,
Paul, what would you say the grade is on that?
Which one?
The Nick Fury.
That one's probably about a 8.5.
Might hold that up again. Let me get a good look at that. That's fucking gorgeous.
Have to look at it in a minute. I'm running with my
Yeah, my birthday's coming up. Just saying.
we did just have a moment. It got really weird there. Seeing him there in that camera. And he just whispered, "That's gorgeous."
He'll be saying that again later when we're talking about another book.
I creep on Steranko all the time.
So, hey, Paul, are those books finished products on your behalf?
No, I haven't pressed those yet.
So, right now, currently, what did you say you grade those at?
The Nick Fury, they're probably both 8.0, 8.5.
And when you're done with them, what will they be?
I'm hoping to get them up to at least a 9.0.
Nice. So if you have a book,
I mean, they both have a few non-pressable spine ticks. So I mean,
so next is our first panel guest, and then we've got a big show tonight, so we're gonna actually dive into some of the direction that we're gonna be going. With some of the new things that are going to be coming up, some of the things that we're going to be talking about, possibly some of the guests that we shall be having. But we also are going to talk to none other than the creator of Niobe Comic, good old LP. Welcome.
Hey, again, glad to be back, man. What's going on? Cheers, by the way.
Salute.
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 Mm-hmm. So picks of the week, huh?
Yeah.
You guys talked about cover Bs. So I got a cover B. This gorgeous art germ Catwoman. I might be a week or 2 behind on some of my stuff here, guys, but don't mind me. I go to the comic shop and buy my books like once every 2 weeks or so. But I also picked up this sweet little gem here. This is Marvel Features Presents number 1, Red Sonja.
Ooh, nice.
That's a nice, cool one.
Nice.
And, I don't have a pull list anymore. And a lot of books I get are from Kickstarter. So this is Penny for Your Soul, number 3 that came from Kickstarter. This is the Dan Mendoza variant. So that just came in the mail. And, of course, guys, I'm going to show it, but we'll wait for the discussion. There it is, right there in the flesh, literally. And my score of the week, I'm going to call a new segment, Score of the Week. Beeler just showed this book. I picked it up recently as well. This is Secret Wars, of course, 8, the first appearance of the Black costume. So very cool to have this book in my collection.
So we're gonna jump. We're gonna jump back to you here in a little bit to talk about. I want to touch base about Niobe and some of the things that are happening with you. But Carson, you gave a PSA, but you didn't give a pick of the week.
Oh, I've actually got a couple. First off, I finally read the legendary Kraven's Last Hunt on Marvel Unlimited, and I must say it was very good, lived up to the hype. So I wanted to shout that out.
Love that story.
Yeah, it was awesome. My kind of backup pick of the week, I got to mention Ice Cream Man number 7. This is the craziest one yet because he uses a potato peeler to skin a guy alive, so it's very creepy in that moment. The overall pick of the week,
Ice Cream Man.
Yeah, good old Ice Cream Man legend. My pick of the week is Edge of Spider-Geddon number 3. It actually even kind of goes into an alternate version of Kraven's Last Hunt in the middle of this. But the heart of this is you basically get Spider-Man, and then you get a version of Ben, Uncle Ben, as Spider-Man as well, because basically what happens is they're out together. Peter leaves him. Ben gets shot, but actually Peter helps save Uncle Ben this time by giving him a blood transfusion in this alternate universe. So that gives him the same spider powers as Peter. But it has a little bit of a tragic type thing going on toward the end. But overall, I read all 3 of these in a row right before the show started, and this was by far the best issue. So once again, Jason Latour is knocking it out of the park on these spider titles.
Spider Gideon.
Now I see Chad talking, but I ain't hearing a word.
That's that mute button. Pesky
Come on,
mute
Chad.
button.
Let's hear you, buddy. We know you got something to say. It's probably on Tinder.
That's what I was doing.
But Chad does have some audio problems, so we'll let him fix that out. Who has not done their pick of the weeks? Everyone gone through their pick of the weeks?
Yeah, I think that's it.
So I got a question for you, LP.
Yeah, sure.
So you picked up that Red Sonja book right there, that Spotlight. So what's a good price to pay for that book? Because my shop has 3 of them, and I've never picked it up, but they're all sitting there.
Well, you got to understand that comic shops are always going to charge top dollar for everything, right? What I paid for mine, and this looks like to be in immaculate condition. I'll show it again. Was $16 Canadian, so that's probably going to be around 11 or 12 US. Is that what your shop is looking at?
My shop has them for $8.
$8. So I probably buy it.
Yeah, that's a fair price, definitely.
Yeah, I would pay that. That's fair
that's
price
not
for
bad.
me.
I pay $15.20 if you're looking for like a 9.0, 9.8, somewhere in that range. $15.20 on that.
I've held it in my hand a few times. Like I said, he's got 3 of them, and they're all $8 a piece, and they all look pretty good. And I've always ended up buying something else. And but I'm definitely since you're showing that book, I wanted to ask your opinion on it. And
I'm a huge Red Sonja fan, and so I had to have this book. The LCS was putting this away in the back issue bins. It was a collection that just came in, and as soon as I saw it, I just yanked it right off the top and said, "How much for this?" And that's the price they gave me, and I picked it up. I got Red Sonja's first appearance, Conan 24. Now I have this, and my Red Sonja collection coming together nicely.
Right on.
So, guys,
are you back yet?
Chad, are you there?
While we were God, it's me, Margaret.
We had some topics that we came together with as a group to discuss. So maybe we should just jump into one of those while Chad.
Yeah, we hear you now.
We can hear you.
All right, cool.
You're doing great.
Thanks. I got scared. Thanks.
All right, Chad. Why don't we jump into some topics, man? Tell us what you want us to talk about.
Let me give you my pick of the week real quick. My pick of the week. Exactly. Was Batman 55. I'm going to tell you why. Because Dick Grayson got killed at the end of it. So pretty awesome.
Damn.
But I'm going to dive into one of the biggest topics there is, and then we'll come back and we'll circle. It's what's hanging over us the most. Long and to the left, none other than the Batwing.
We're going to dive right into that first, huh?
Well,
I'm excited.
Cover.
We might run out of time. We got to get to Batwing first.
So I bought this cover, and I have the other. Both of my shops ordered 75 copies of this. Both of them, they knew nothing about it. They didn't know what it was going to do. They sold out. The thing is, if you get this book, the second print, it's already been told, doesn't have the Batwing.
Burial chambers 8? Do you have a burial chamber?
That is true. What they decided to do is censor the Batwing. So digital copies will no longer have it, and subsequent printings are said to have it, blocked out. And I think that's brilliant marketing.
Yeah, because it's going to drive the price of this book up.
Absolutely, it will. I mean, it was kind of think of that X-Men Gold book where they had all the Arab references that kind of got pulled back and redone. It's going to have that same sort of vibe, in my opinion.
So, I'll ask. How do we dive into the Wang? Who wants to start it?
Well, looks like Drew's ready to start.
Like, okay, so you're in a locker room. You keep your head up, right? Everybody keeps their head up. So when you're reading a comic, your eyes are down, and then all of a sudden you see it. You're like, holy, oh my goodness. So Bueller, what's your thoughts on the Wang?
So I got to throw, before we get started, I got to throw this out there. So you mentioned that Dick Grayson died. So we say goodbye to one Dick and hello to the next one. So congratulations. It's awesome. Anyway, so first thoughts on the book itself. I enjoyed the book. I thought the artwork looked really good. It's actually my pick of the week. I liked the story. It was intriguing. I don't want to give anything away as far as the plot line, but it definitely had me at the end of the issue wanting to read number 2, and that's what you're looking for in a new series. Now, to jump on to the penis that was in the episode or the issue, I have no problem with penises or lady business or anything like that in the comics.
You're down with OPP.
They've been around for a long time. But I do have a problem. This is so fun. Come on, this is great. I do have a problem with the fact that it's in the story, and this is my opinion, it's in there for no apparent reason. It's just there to spark what we're doing right now. That's the only reason it's there. It doesn't serve a purpose. Now, I sit there and I look, and I referenced in my live stream earlier, I'm a huge fan of the Watchmen graphic novel. And in the Watchmen, there was a ton of nudity, and Dr. Manhattan was nude all the time. It made sense because he didn't wear clothing, and you kind of just got used to it because he was like energy and stuff, and that's just what it was. In this Batman book, it was just there to be there. It doesn't need to be there. It wouldn't affect anything. There's no reason why they couldn't have just darkened it out. And it's actually on 4 different panels. It's on the last panel of the book, like the second or third panel. When it's from a top-down view, he's sitting in the chair in his front room, and he's sitting in a leather chair. It's from a very high up, and as you look down, he's sitting there and he's naked, and you can see the bat penis yet again. So it's, you know, and people probably missed that one. One thing I can do, I can find a penis, and I'm good at that type of thing, and I can find penises. I have a trouble finding my own sometimes, but that's a whole nother story. But anyway, it was a lot. I thought it was just there just to be there. And for that matter, I thought it was kind of stupid. But I don't take offense to it. So there you go. There's my initial thought. Let's get some other opinions.
So for this book here, okay, it's the first DC adult book, right? Or something like that. That's what it's branded as?
Yeah.
And it's the first actual release from DC Black Label, which is their no holds barred imprint. So this is their first outing.
What a great way for publicity for this new Black Label book than to put the bat penis in there. I mean, the thing about it is, I mean, it's like Count Von Strange. Count Von Strange had a great comment. It's in there so DC has the reason to recall the book and make it more desirable. The word is out now about the book, and it will make issue 2 more desirable. And that's what it is. But in wrestling terms, me and LP know what it's all about. And this is one. Okay, 2 things. The
cheap
movies.
Pop.
I was going to get the cheap pop, but you know, you look at the DC stuff, and you know, not much is going on. Sure, they have the we're going to talk about DC streaming service maybe tonight, but sure they got some stuff. But I mean, here we go. Captain Marvel movie. All the Marvel folks are so pumped for the Captain Marvel movie. I mean, so DC needed a little something to combat, you know, some of that stuff. So what better way than to draw like the Dick and Batman or whatever, you know? Not Grayson, but the other.
Legend, you're absolutely right. We're here Friday night on YouTube in the comic community. See, I mean, this is they called Mick Foley up and they said, "Hey, give us a cheap pop." They're like, "Put a dick in it." But, I mean, if you look at the book, though, I dig the style. I dig the magazine style. I mean, I talked to my shop, and he isn't going to cut. He's not going to carry the magazine size bags, but it's unique. And then I asked him, I said, are all the books going to be the magazine size? And he said, it's up to the creator. Mm-hmm. And today, after this book skyrocketed the way it did, and the second prints are already sold out, all the books are magazine now. So it works. And it's creating a buzz. And don't think for 1 minute that you're not going to see more and more of these creators that are taking on these black label books try to outdo themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be.
There's a couple things in the chat. And like Comics Misexplained, he said he was scanning his body and had to get naked. Okay, so that's the panel where you see the bat penis. And he's absolutely right. That's what was going on. But here's the thing. Nobody would say, if it was already airbrushed out, nobody would say, oh, how come he wasn't naked? Or how come we don't see his penis? That would not be a conversation. Okay? And that's why they put it in there, like you said, for this shock value. So we wouldn't be having the conversation on the other end if it wasn't in there, but we're definitely having it because it was in there.
So I mean, I agree with you, Travis. I think there was no narrative reason for that needing to be there. It was purely there to create shock value.
Yep.
And the person who should be most upset about this, I think, is Dr. Manhattan, because you look at his naked pictures and you look at the Batman. Batman clearly wins that battle.
But again, he is Batman, and he does have the biggest toys, right?
Yeah, but Dr. Manhattan's he can change things on a molecular level, so he's clearly going to change things after this.
Yeah.
He's got like 5 penises, so he'll be all right.
So, Trav, you like the book, right?
I did enjoy the book. I mean,
we know it was LP's pick of the week, right?
Yeah, not necessarily because it was a great story, though. It was the pick of the week just because the hype, Okay. And I'm first to be honest about it. Let's look at this book, in context here. It's magazine size. It definitely stands out for that alone. As far as the plot goes, they tell you what the plot is right on the back. The Joker is dead. Okay, that's
right,
the plot.
But that plot is not conveyed really at all in the book.
Batman seems to be fucked up. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to drop the F-bomb. Batman seems to be disoriented. He took a big fall, big bump on the head. There are guest appearances in this book. It's written by Brian Azzarello, and it's very, as I told the guys off air, it's a very abstract story. I think the art looks great, but I think if the Batwang wasn't in the book, no one would be talking about it at all. Like, I don't think anyone would care. I wouldn't even have known it was on the shelf until I woke up yesterday morning and saw this plastered, all over my Facebook, and people asking me, what do I think? So I gave my opinions on this book on my last episode of Rebel Comics, where I kind of really tore it a new one in a way, but I also went and bought it to check it out for myself. It wasn't needed. Let's start off with that. It didn't enhance the story at all. It wasn't relevant to the story at all. It was thrown in there simply for the cheap pops, the shock value. Absolutely. My question is this. Let's say, DC's Black Label continues on this trend. Like Chad is saying, he's worried about the slippery slope, okay? And all these creators start trying to do or outdo one another with their mature label stories. If this was Batgirl's breast, what do you think would happen? Because I'll tell you what I think would happen. What would happen is everyone would cry sexualization of women and pornographic, but Batman's Wang is okay.
Well, in the same vein, let's bring up. First of all, I'll address Batman Dan.
Wait a second, Drew. Did you say main vein?
Yeah,
same vein.
Okay, same vein.
Not the main vein. We'll talk about the main vein in just a minute. But in the same vein, Batman Damned, this is my turd of the week. I think this book has no excuse for being as bad as it is. Narratively, it makes absolutely no sense. Visually, every single panel is the most overworked painting, with at least 3 or 4 extra hours put into it, to the point where none of it has any sort of cohesiveness to the next panel. It's all over the place. It's Batman and magic, which never goes well together. There's a Wang in it. for really no other reason but for him to get out of his bat suit, be naked, and cry in front of another bat suit. It's really weird, and maybe it's just not for me. But on the same note that you're talking about, as far as the sexualization issue, there was a great book that came out this past year that called Batman White Knight that was actually had panels from it censored because it wasn't on Black Label yet, even though it will be released as Black Label in collected versions. There were definitely some Joker Harley Quinn sex panels that were censored by DC Comics. So that definitely was something that would have made that story a little bit meatier, whereas the meat in this story is the only meat in the issue at all. I think that if this Wang is not in this book, nobody talks about it, it doesn't sell. Azarello has to explain to the editors why he can't sell books. It's ugly, it's terrible, and no amount of wieners can save it, in my opinion. But,
so is that, are you giving it a never mind.
I mean, Drew's assessment on it is fair, you know.
He gave it a dangle versus a stiffy.
Yeah, that's a limp light dangle to the left.
It came up a little limp for Drew.
Legend, I gotta ask you, what do you think of all this, brother?
Well, it's just a way, for me personally, I think it's a way for DC to get some more hype going, you know, before their Titans TV show or and their streaming service, and you know, just anything that relates to DC or Warner Brothers. It's just a way to give them some more news, you know. And what's funny about it is, and we'll probably talk about this if we go over Captain Marvel hitting the old lady. You know what I mean?
We got to talk about the Captain Marvel trailer. Absolutely.
All of that stuff, LP, and you know it. I know it. It's just to garner hype, and it's to garner the websites, whether they be those like Bleeding Cools, those CBRs. You know, I don't really like go to those websites. I only go to IGN pretty much, but you know, it's something that those sites can write about, and it's something to get other people interested in the comic medium. You know,
See, Woodard, I haven't heard you throw down yet.
As I said, I didn't read the issue. I'll put it this way, I was more offended by the $6.99 price tag than any dick in the book, I guess. But my kind of plan for it, I did really enjoy the Azarello Joker, which I didn't know if this was supposed to be like a prequel to Batman Damned or not. But because I enjoyed this, I do plan on getting it somewhere down the line, whether it be like a nice trade or a hardcover. Just because sometimes when it comes to those weird magazine formats, I'd almost rather have that in like a nice printed hardcover than trying to figure out a bag and a board for it. But it's just like you guys have been saying, like Beeler, you said it here, and then in your live chat earlier, it's just no one really said too much when it came with Dr. Manhattan having his, you know, business out everywhere. And then, you know, they barely draw in like a Batman shaped dick. Like are there really that many people who cared that they have to recall it? Or like I typed in the chat earlier, is it more controversy creates cash, and they're hitting that recall button so they can fast track a second print and then get it on the shelf at $6.99 a piece. Like I said, I'm a little bit more offended with the price tag on this thing, material that personally. So like I said, I don't know if it's not or if it's offensive or not.
That's what I'm talking about.
Well, I think he brings up a valid point. I'm curious in the chat, how many of you are going to get this book now because it's being recalled or because the Batwang is in there? And I want you guys to be honest, yes or no, right? Do you guys look at this as some sort of collector's item now that it's going to have a recall?
I mean, we'll dive into the chat. I mean, Comics Misexplained gives it a 5.5 inches.
That's epic.
Jason Smith is in the chat. Jason says, I'm in Windows 10 Legend. Vincenzo C is in there. Count Von Strange is still in there. I saw Comics Addiction, Midwest Comic Book Man. I saw your wife in here, Paul.
Yeah, we were talking gaming. She was helping me with some awesome games, man.
And we also still have Popcom is still in the house.
Stay Puff, man. I love me some Stay Puff too.
1983, our brother from the 80s.
And I would like to mention, and TJ brings that up too. They aren't recalling it. They're just saying that all future printings will not have the dong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So the initial run
makes you feel like that dong is special and just
Bleeding Cool was reporting a recall, but you know what? They're not always right. So.
No.
They're seldom right.
So the initial print run was 115,000. So that's a lot of penises.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But I brought this up on my live stream before, but I haven't really seen anybody complain about it. That's the thing. I've heard a lot of people like say, "Oh, there's all this hubbub about it," but I haven't seen the complaints. Have you guys seen the actual complaints?
I don't think anybody's complaining about it.
Well, I mean, being on Twitter is a different world. I just joined Twitter, not joined it, but I've been paying attention to it, say, for like the last 3 or 4 weeks. And if you want all the drama and all the people that are crying foul, that is where you're going to find it. So in Twitter, I'm seeing some of it, yes, but for the most part, I think people are just talking about it because it's there, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of people, you know, that I associate with on Twitter are kind of on my mindset of if that was a female, would the result be the same sort of argument, and that's kind of where it's going on Twitter right now.
I think if it was a female and it showed her below the waist, like everyone would be up in arms about it. I truly think that with all of the feminine and Me Too movement and all that kind of stuff, I think it would just give all that like a bunch of hype and everything, you know. So,
well, especially with the level of the character. I mean, this is Batman we're talking about. This isn't not Dr. Manhattan, who is, you know, kind of a niche character. You know, if Wonder Woman shows up and she's, you know, butt naked, you know, that's gonna get some press, you know. So I think it's
I'd buy it.
Hashtag Diana's beef curtains.
Well, I mean, look, Frank Cho got knocked off Wonder Woman because he showed a little bit of her underwear, and they had to censor her by moving her back a little bit. But
well, that also was because it offended the writer.
Yeah, that had a lot more to do with Greg Rucka than it did anything else.
Right.
Well, then why don't they? I mean, everybody knows where Greg Land copies his images from. So why isn't everything he draws censored?
Well, because he censors out the bukkake and he just goes with the faces.
Yeah, he has the O face, but all the clothes are on.
Yeah,
some of the clothes are on.
Well, I mean, it's mostly the White Queen. So I mean, how many clothes does he really have to draw onto her?
Right.
You know, the thing about Batman, damn, this is going to be hyped today and gone tomorrow. You know, just like anything else. It's, you know, it's DC's. I think it's brilliant marketing to do this to get eyes on their black label. And even like, you know, saying we're going to censor it now, I think it's a premeditated move. I don't think it was like a backlash. Like, oh no, we got to censor it because people are complaining about it. I think that's a premeditated business move, to be completely 100% honest.
Me too.
Some of the younger people might not remember, but I remember when NYPD Blue first came out and they were talking about how the show was going to have nudity and it was going to have nudity and everybody was up in arms and up in arms.
Dennis Franz's ass.
Yeah, and then everybody watched the episode and was like, "That's it."
It was also like one of the first shows to kind of incorporate swearing. I mean, I remember like, you know, hearing shit for the first time on primetime TV because of NYPD Blue. You know what I mean?
But then you get FX with Sons of Anarchy, The Shield, and the you know,
Vic Mackey.
They started dropping a lot more than just shit, and
they
showed a little bit more. I mean, instead of you may get side boob and
right. I think overall it's a big bunch of hype over nothing, and yeah, of course, anything's going to get the Comicsgate incels on Twitter all riled up. Doesn't matter what you show, somebody's going to get upset about something.
That's the whole point of Twitter. I think you can argue any point there, and someone somewhere is going to be offended by it.
It's all about, you know, alternative point of view to, you know, rile people up, and that's hey man, that's the way the world works.
The funny thing about Comicsgate though is they're actually okay with it. They're not.
I mean, I'm just saying that there's, you know, that it takes all kinds on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Count Von Strange just brought up a really good point.
Sorry, dang it. I mean LP.
Count. Go ahead, Larry.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, brother. Ask me anything you want.
So say you're collabing, like, do you ever with your artists, do you ever talk to them and say, hey, let's have something that's going to blow somebody's mind. Put a Easter egg here, or like how do you think this came about?
I think it was a premeditated move. I think that was talked about during the scripting of the story, because in order for an artist to draw that has to be in the script. So somewhere along the line, the writer would have to say, and visually we see Batman's penis. They have to type that out. Some artists might just throw that in there for the sake of throwing it in there, but I think that's a decision that they knew would garner a lot of press, and I don't think they made that like.
So, as a creator, if you didn't know about that, what would you have done?
I would know about it because I would approve every page before it went to print. But if somehow something got snuck by me like that, I'd be up in arms.
I'm wondering if Jim Lee and Dan Didio was like, "This is cool. Let's put it in there. Let's leave it in here."
Yeah, Dan Didio loves dicks.
So one thing,
you guys heard it first here on the Comic Core Friday nights.
My local shop, the owner of the shop, he got a preview copy of this, PDF copy, about a month ago, and he does not remember seeing this in the panels that he read. He read the whole book, had all the artwork and everything done, and he doesn't remember seeing it.
Only the first print paper. None of the digital copies that went out had that in there. It was.
If I'm talking about the preview copy that went out like a month ago for shop owners, it wasn't.
Well, the shop owners get the PDF that they receive is what goes on the online market.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, I talked to my shop, and he had said that this is like, I talked to him on Tuesday night when he was putting the books up, and I was like, oh, the art, I just looked at it and didn't buy it, and I as I was looking at the book, and I'm like, the next day, everybody's talking about the leanest, meanest penis, and I was like, what? I looked at that book, and then like I looked online, and I couldn't find it anywhere online. So then when I got my book, I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. So most of the time, they get what goes online.
I was going to say, in 8 days from now, I'm sure one of my sellers on Legends Live Auctions will have this for you. So if y'all missed out on the Bat D, y'all tune in on Saturday night for the auction.
Absolutely. Also, check out Legends gaming videos when he starts coming back. He's going to be doing a WWE tournament style. And then also every Sunday night after a pay-per-view, C. Woodard and Bueller and myself join the great legend to review none other than WWE's pay-per-view of the month, hopefully. So, Paul, after the penis of meanness, what do you think of the DC streaming service?
Haven't had a chance to check it out yet, but I mean, I'm hearing mixed reviews so far about it. Hey, there's just not enough content yet.
Is anybody on the panel actually subscribed to it and has used it?
Yeah, I've used it a couple times. I've already read a couple comics. My first concern was we didn't get enough comic books, because I've been saying I wanted to read the new Teen Titans from Wolfman and Perez. Day one, they only had issue 1, so I was kind of not happy right off the bat, but they've already added 11 more issues, so it looks like they're adding as they go. My other main concern, I should say, is it's not on a lot of devices yet. Like, I can't watch it on my PS4, and I can't watch it on my Xbox or my Samsung TV. I think it's on like Roku, phone devices. Like, I could watch it on my iPad, but hopefully by the time they start to get some of these bigger shows out, they'll have some bigger plans figured out by then. So, like I said, it's a little bit mixed for me so far. But so far, I guess in terms of just using it as a reading device for what they have to offer, it's serviceable. So far it's all right.
Any TV content as of yet?
Yeah, well, they have basically their older stuff. Like, you watch like all the old Batman movies, the Superman movies, most of Batman the Animated Series is on there. I think Justice League's already on there. So pretty much like all their classic content, but their new stuff like Titans and the other stuff they promised, like Swamp Thing and such, those probably won't be out for a little while. I think Titans was during November, December launch, I think, or something like that. Which I think that was the first one.
So they're not serious until Christmas.
Pretty much, yeah.
What you're saying is wait for your grandma to get you that DC service gift card.
Now, I did see the trailer for which I was really, really surprised of. They did do a Jason Todd trailer, and it showed the interaction between Dick Grayson and Jason, and Jason tells him, "Hey, I'm the new Robin," and that's interesting to me because you're kind of like spoiling a character right off the bat. And he's going to probably be the most anticipated death in TV that anybody can wait for. So I was super, super surprised that they've already showed Jason Todd in a trailer. So
this is really weird, and this is kind of interesting here. But I'm looking at your poster, Chad, that's behind you, and all of my favorite characters are next to each other. Look over your other shoulder. You got the Shazam family. You got Freddie Freeman, Mary Marvel, you got New Superman, and Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle, all in the same area, which those were like all the books that I used to read on for DC.
Yeah, they're holding the line at $2.99.
In that batch is my favorite, one of my favorite DC female characters, which is Mira, Aquaman's wife. I read her miniseries. I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Mira, man.
Trendy Entertainment in the chat saying that Titans will debut October 12th and come out once every Friday. So it looks like October 12th, the first episode of Titans will be launched.
So I did read where in the streaming service that they will be doing. It's not going to be like Netflix, where Netflix you get to Netflix and chill and watch the entire series. They are going to just stay to like a weekly schedule. So you may get Young Justice on a Monday, you may get Titans on a Tuesday, and then so forth and going forward. I also that in Teen Titans, that's going to spawn out Doom Patrol. Now, I saw the cast for Doom Patrol, and I'm kind of stoked about Doom Patrol because Doom Patrol is like one of my favorites. I mean, they're the DC version of the X-Men.
That's right, Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
So is this DC network going to be like just like DC focus, or is it like a Warner Brothers network where you're going to see all the Warner Brothers?
Just straight DC focused.
Just straight DC. Okay.
Well, we've got Brandon Stawinski in the chat. We also have C. Woodard still hanging around with us for some reason.
Brett J. Watson drops Daredevil season 3 drops October 19th. So everybody's still concerned about Titans can forget about that. Daredevil season 3 comes out.
Well,
I'm pretty stoked. I haven't watched the trailer yet, but I plan to do a reaction to it, so I can't wait.
Well, they don't call me Captain Segway for nothing, because I'm going to segue right into the next trailer.
Yeah.
What did you guys think?
Captain Marvel?
Yep.
I'll start with that one. It was bland. There was nothing exciting about it. You know, I watched it. I did a reaction to it. I was like, okay. Yeah. You know, when I watched the Avengers Infinity War trailer, I was blown away. Or when I watched, say, like Star Wars The Force Awakens trailer, where you're watching it like 10 times because you're so excited you can't believe it's happening. Captain Marvel certainly didn't do that for me at all. And the one scene in the trailer, that has everyone up in arms is where, she hits the old lady. I've seen people, freak out about that. Of course, there are people that never read comics. Never, don't know anything about the medium, and I'm like, she hit a scroll. Okay, come on, dumbasses! Like, it's unbelievable. But yeah, that's my take.
I did read early review about the movie, and this one's for Legend. You will see a certain cow show up.
Oh, good. I'm glad. That will be fun. That'll be a good Easter egg. But I need to upgrade that book, so damn it. That's what I get. Fantastic Four #2, everyone. You heard it here. Go out and spec, buy the book, and just, I don't know. I hate speculators. My Fantastic
because
Four
Fantastic Four #2 wasn't already a hot book.
I know, but the great thing is Skrulls are a villain, and villains always go down. Especially after the backlash of the grandma getting hit in the face. So that actually may work in my favor.
So after watching the trailer, there's been some speculation out online recently about the whole Skrulls and that General Ross is a Skrull.
Thunderbolt Ross is a Skrull? Oh, my God.
In the MCU. And
Nice.
That's kind of cool, though. I mean, what a great.
I think we're reaching too far already. Let's calm it down there, speculators.
Do you think the Captain Marvel movie, and JP, if JP you're watching this on the rewind, I know you love some Brie Larson, but do you think this is going to increase all of that Carol Danvers stuff, like value?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, it already has.
What do you think, Carson? You said something right there.
What was that? Had the increase on the spec?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It already has. I mean, you got your Miss Marvel #1 is basically a minimum of $100 book in good condition right now. So, I mean, that's way up. Yeah.
Sold it a year ago. Damn it.
Oh, yeah, you probably should have waited on that. Even people are even specking on Kamala Khan right now. Her first appearance is breaking $200-300 easy right now, too. So, yeah, I mean, not only are you talking Carol Danvers, you're talking pretty much anyone involved with her right now. It's going up.
You should spec on the first female Captain Marvel, the Monica Rambeau one, because she's actually going to be in the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, she is. And then the
I go America 2 Rambo.
What's that? What's that, Travis? I mean, Bueller.
Nothing.
Oh my gosh.
Nothing.
Damn it.
That's all right. Everyone knows. It's comics with Bueller, but my given name is Travis. So there we go. It's all good.
All I know is, what if Edward Norton shows up as the real Hulk and what's his name's been a Skrull the whole time?
Yeah, Ruffalo.
Ruffalo Skrull. There you go. Bring back Norton.
I think that ship has sailed.
Yeah. 10 years ago it sailed.
You know, one thing I want to get Drew's take on the Captain Marvel trailer, because Drew, I know you're huge like cosmic, the space Marvel storylines. Are you pretty pumped for the Captain Marvel movie?
I'll tell you what, Legend. LP had a lot of good points when he talked about the underwhelming notes of this trailer. But at the same time, as a deep Marvel cosmic fan, the flashes of brilliance that we get in this trailer have me hyped through the roof. The Skrulls look amazing. Marvel is in this movie. We've got Kree warriors. We've got cosmic power. We got Nick Fury with 2 damn eyes. We got Director Coulson with a faux hawk. What more could you want out of an MCU adventure? There's nothing more that you need from this. I think that if you go into this expecting the level of Infinity War, yeah, you're going to be disappointed. If you go into this with the same expectations you have for most Marvel standalone films, I think that people are going to be blown away by what they have to offer to grow this universe. I think that all the seeds that they're showing us in this trailer just lead to bigger and better avenues of adventure for this universe. We're going to get more cosmic stuff, and I can't wait for that.
Do you think this movie is set in the past? Because we got to see Nick.
It's in the 90s. We should crash in a Blockbuster video.
Yeah. I do have one question for people who are far more up on the Carol Danvers mythology than me, because I haven't read a lot of the newer Captain Marvel stuff. But on the movie poster, it shows her walking out of the hangar, and everybody was making a big deal about the little outline of a cat you see on the side and saying, the cat's in it, the cat's in it. What's that all about?
There's a cat in their book.
But I think the more important thing that the trailer did not show is the big bad from Guardians 1 is in the movie.
Ronan was in the trailer too, man.
He was just a quick flash of him.
Yeah.
But apparently he does play a pretty significant part, and that's gonna be pretty cool.
A lot of people are saying, the speculation is that they're going to go into the whole thing of why he leaves and turns into Thanos' flunky in this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. A lot of people are always specking out there currently about Ronan, Hawkeye, Ronan, or whatever. But the original Ronan, that's a Fantastic Four book. Ronan the Accuser. Can't remember the number.
15.
15?
I think so.
People need to start buying that one, because I've already got a high grade of that one. So buy away, yeah.
I have a boss back here.
Buy that thing.
To each their own.
Just don't buy number 2. Save those cows scrolls for me.
So we've talked about penises. We've talked about scrolls. What else do we got, Larry?
Well, there's talk about the MCU and the X-Men. So Disney's taking over the X-Men, which I'm completely pumped about. Now, don't get me wrong. When they did the X-Men movies with Bryan Singer back in 2000 and whatnot, they were good for its time, right? Mm-hmm. But I want to see the Marvel treatment now to the X-Men the way I always thought the X-Men deserved. I want to see X-Men in X-Men costumes. I want to see great X-Men storylines done the way that Marvel has handled the Avengers. And this excites me to see that not only the X-Men, but hopefully Legend, the Fantastic Four get a part of this.
Yeah,
and
I hope so.
Just like the way they've incorporated Spider-Man from Sony, I want to see a bigger MCU. And one of the theories is that they got going why we haven't seen mutants. I really love this theory, and I'd love to get your guys' takes on this. Is that they're, one of the things I heard is that they might go with Scarlet Witch already done the No More Mutants spell. And so, because she already exists in the MCU, and so they're going to potentially say that she's had some past history with the mutants and already did away with them. And now we can bring them back. You know what I mean? And that might be a decent way to handle it. Or, they could just say that they've been under the radar the whole time. Like, I don't know, but what do you guys think?
I'm a big fan of the theory that they're going to use the Ultimate Universe discovery of mutants, whereas the Canadian Super Soldier Program discovered Wolverine as the first mutant, and that the mutation was hidden and not quite active yet. I think that'd be a good way to handle it. But I just hope that they have a good story that they can draw out for more than a couple of movies. Really have a good time with it. And cast some characters that'll be able to grow with the franchise, which is, Fox has had a real problem. They cast actors to grow with the franchise, and then they expected them to age 10 years a clip, and that didn't really make any damn sense. But beyond that, as long as there's a good story and they figure out a way to work these characters in, I'm excited about it.
Bueller.
So I look at it like this. They have a perfect opportunity right now with the last Avengers movie, involving possibly time travel and going back and resetting it so everyone's back. They could easily bring the whole universe in line by doing that. It'd be subtle, at first, but the little glimpse is if they went back, because there's been like reshoots of like the original Avengers movie and stuff that they've done with Ant-Man was with them or something like that. And it'd be really easy to bring in those other characters. Not that they're going to make it in the next movie, but it'd be a very easy jumping on point to say, hey, they've always existed in the universe. It's just, and this timeline or this variation, they weren't here. And then when we reset it with the time stone or whatever it is in the fourth movie, all these characters are part of the universe, and that's just the way it was. So they could do something like that. I think it's possible. I've always thought about the scenario of at the end of the first Avengers movie when they're in the restaurant and they're getting the shawarma or whatnot, and they're sitting around the table and it's all the Avengers. It'd be funny if like the X-Men walked in or Fantastic Four walked in and they're like, where you guys been? Or something like something subtle like that, a little comedy to get the ball rolling, and they kind of did something in Deadpool too, where, the X-Men were in the office as Deadpool was walking around. It was just a little hint at what's to come. And they could easily do something like that and just get the ball rolling right away and go from there. So I wouldn't mind them doing that. We've got enough story of the X-Men. We've got 8 movies of X-Men movies. Do I want to start over with the X-Men again? No. I want them to jump in there, and I want Wolverine to be fighting Captain America, and I want all that stuff going on. So, do
we cast Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, Bueller? Do we still go with some of the casting that they've done if they're going to incorporate those characters, like transfer them right over?
I think you're going to have to recast pretty much every one of them. The only one I really liked was Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but I think his ship has probably sailed. I always liked Tom Hardy, who's playing Venom. I thought he would make a great Wolverine.
He's too busy ruining his MCU stock by being Venom.
Yeah. Tom Hardy can play anything.
Yeah. Or maybe that guy that played Jax on that Sons of Anarchy You know,
Charlie
if he
Hunnam.
beefed up a little bit, you know, he could maybe pull a Venom, or not Venom, but a Wolverine character. I don't think it's going to be Jackman, but that's all right.
If you go back to the guy that played Jax, if you watch him in Pacific Rim, he breaks character and uses his Australian accent. But
yeah, he's not a very good actor.
Well, he can turn that Australian accent into a Canadian accent, and we'd be all right with it.
Okay.
Nobody would know the difference anyway.
Yeah.
I'm trying to share this image with you guys, and hopefully you can see it. That's what I would like to see right there.
Well, now you're talking about Avengers versus X-Men sort of territory, which would be really, really cool.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Right now we've got. So they also announced that they're going to be doing on their streaming service, Disney streaming service. They're going to do a Scarlet Witch, and it's
Loki.
rumored the Scarlet Witch and a Loki movie. Now, you know, the Captain Marvel movie is the first movie that is incorporating a character from TV or a character from one of their television series. Coulson started out in the MCU, but then he ended up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and now he is back in the MCU.
Yeah, I guess it was predated. It's a prequel to what the current Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are doing.
Absolutely understand that, but I think this is an opportunity for something to be done like we've all wanted. I mean, I would love to. I mean, when what's his name got casted as the Flash, everybody was like, "Why not Grant Gustin?" Yeah. Because we already have the Flash.
Yeah,
right.
And you know, Marvel and Disney will look at the mistakes that Warner Brothers has made, and they won't make those mistakes. That's for damn sure. I mean,
well, they got a long list of mistakes not to make them because
apparently DC's the whole reboot of their whole movie franchise. I think it's come to that, where they got to reboot it yet once again and start from scratch. I feel bad that the DCU hasn't met the success that Marvel's met. But when it comes to Disney streaming service, I'm damn excited for that. I mean, I might drop Netflix and just take that. Star Wars, Marvel, all the other properties that Disney's acquired now, they pretty much have a monopoly, and they have the power play to do TV shows and streaming shows and incorporate these shows into the movies and tie it up with one nice bow if they were to play it right.
Yeah, well, I think that as far as what Marvel's doing over at Disney, I don't think they need to be paying too much attention to what anybody else is doing. I think they're doing a great job. They haven't had any real missteps yet, and I think that if they're going to pay attention to Warner Brothers, I think that the only thing they need to be paying attention to is Warner Brothers' most successful property, which is kind of the greatest blueprint for X-Men, in my opinion, and that's the Harry Potter franchise. What's this? We've got weird powers, huh? There's a bunch of strange kids in a weird ass school together. Let's do 8 movies of that. That's the best idea ever.
But Drew, in the same breath, they have 2 movies in the can.
Yeah, neither one of them are going to be any good.
I mean, the horror
New Mutants and X-Men Phoenix.
Yeah.
They're both going to be unmitigated pieces of garbage.
Well, you heard it first.
I agree with you. I 100% agree. I'm glad that those movies are on hold or may not be happening.
I wish I was wrong about this. I'm not going to be. I don't want to be right about this. I just know that I am.
I mean, Kevin's sitting there going, so I'm in charge of the X-Men now? They're like, yeah. He's like, cool. Put them on the phone. Those movies, awesome, great job. Push them off. We're going to recast and go forward. I mean, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
I think that's actually
not, and that would be great.
I think that's actually the most important thing. It's not that the X-Men are under Marvel's umbrella; they're under Kevin Feige's umbrella, and I think he's the man personally most responsible for the success of the MCU, because every single movie that comes through, he can sit there and he can say, nope, we can't do that because 4 movies from now we're doing this. He has the grand vision.
Now, I watched a video with him doing an interview recently, and this was during Homecoming, and they had announced the Venom or the Spider-Verse, and they asked him, hey, is this going to be any relationship to the Homecoming movie? And she was like, oh, we're going to take aspects of it. And he just looked at her and glared, and now she's not part of the crew. So
Yeah. She's a psychopath, man. She's the reason why Sony screwed up Spider-Man in the first place. And she's just a hanger-on for this Homecoming stuff that Foggy is making happen for her. Yeah, so I mean that dude, the whole idea of the Venom movie, I really hope it's good. I don't have high hopes for it. I hope it's good. I want to enjoy it. But like, why are we making Spider-Man villain movies without Spider-Man? Like, that's like making a Catwoman movie starring Halle Berry without Batman in it. That was a great idea, wasn't it? That was just absolutely fantastic. Why are we still thinking that this is a good idea? Why did Silver and Black just get canceled? Who wants to see a Silver Sable Black Cat movie? Who, outside of people in this community, know who the fuck Silver Sable is? The answer is nobody. Nobody knows who Silver Sable is. Nobody cares about Marvel's Catwoman. And if you're going to make that movie without Spider-Man, it's going to be terrible. That's why they canceled it. Now we're going to get a Craven movie. Why? Without Spider-Man, why would you do that? Why would you take a solid Spider-Man villain and waste an entire movie on him that's just going to lose you money and you're going to fall flat on your face looking like an idiot?
Because right now they want to be hanging on to some sort of intellectual property that they screwed up and they lost. I mean,
sure. Disney, I see why they're grasping at straws. I don't see why Marvel is allowing any of it to happen.
I mean,
you the ever living hell out of them.
If Sable is in another Spider-Man, or Sable is in a Spider-Man movie, and Spider-Man tries to get with Sable, let me tell you something, Spatty. You're going to Suplex City.
I know who's waiting for the Silver Sable Black Cat movie. Spider Grandpa.
Well, yeah, that's it.
Hey, I would love.
He'll be waiting outside with a box of tissues and some Lubriderm.
So I disagree, man. I think you're off base on this one. I think that there's so much hype around anything with a Marvel tag on it. They can do any movie they want. You can throw in there Guardians of the Galaxy was a B team, and nobody knew who Star-Lord was, or or Drax or whatnot. And that's one of their main franchises. When I heard they were making a Guardians of the Galaxy, I said the same thing. Why are they making a Guardians of the Galaxy? And then to take if you could take Iron Man, which
Iron Man was a B player.
Iron Man was a B player. The book was close to getting canceled.
But I think that I think anything they want to slap I think there's such a stigma now with Marvel. They could do a Squirrel Girl movie, and that thing is going to be #1 at the box office for 4 weeks in a row. And
I think that the difference there, though, is if Marvel Studios, under the direction of Kevin Feige, make a Squirrel Girl movie, I have faith that it's going to be made right. If Sony Studios makes a Venom movie without Spider-Man in it, which is the only character that's ever made Venom interesting on a large scale, and he doesn't even have the correct costume because he doesn't have a spider on his chest, because they can't even get the rights within their own fucking company to put the spider on his chest, and it doesn't make any sense because Spider-Man's not in the movie. I think that what you're doing there is you're throwing out a character and you're being like, well, we've got Venom, let's make a Venom movie, and then you're giving us absolutely nothing to do with what Venom is. It waters down the comic book fans' perspective, and it also is not linked to the MCU, so therefore makes people confused. My mom isn't going to know what the difference between Venom and Spider-Man is. She's just going to go see Venom thinking, oh, well, this is related to Spider-Man, and she's not going to see Spider-Man in the movie, and she's going to be like, well, what the hell was that weird goo monster? And that's the way the general public's is gonna see that movie. I think that we're going to see that Venom is going to come out and underperform. I think that it will not make nearly as much money as Sony wants it to make, and it will probably suffer because of that. Like I said, I want it to be good. I want to go see it and have a great time. I don't see narratively how they can make it make sense and expect you to see it on the same level as something as an Infinity War, which everything has built up to this point, or even an Ant-Man and the Wasp, which has taken different elements from all over the place and put it in the same pot. So in my opinion, I just think that Sony is by holding on to these licenses and trying to make something out of nothing, they're really just they're cutting off their own nose to spite their face. If they would wait for Marvel to be like, well, let's use these characters in this way, well, let's plug these into Spider-Man Homecoming. If they doubled down on that and put more effort into it, I think that would behoove them, as opposed to greenlighting a Craven movie when we don't know whether or not Venom even works yet.
So I'm going to give a shout out to the chat real quick. Cat Von Strange says Fox's fault. It will be better as Disney. He's responding to Stay Puft. I'm waiting for a new Howard the Duck movie.
Yeah, let's do that.
We've got Bear Islands Comics. They don't know how to pronounce symbiote. Trinity says, I want to see a Venom movie with Spider Grandpa in it working at Kroger's. Comics Misexplained says, hey, Legend, and hey, Jason. I'm sorry, Area 51. I apologize.
Area 51, what's up?
Comics Addiction says, I had no hopes for Ant-Man the first part and was a great surprise. Yeah, that is a sleeper in that community. I mean, Disney is a juggernaut. They can make anything in gold because they have the marketing background.
Homeward Bound, incredible journey. 2 dogs and a damn cat. In that movie, I mean, holy hell! I think they had 2 or 3 sequels. I mean, phenomenal, man. They could turn anything into
straight up. How many symbiotes were in that movie?
Symbiote. All those animals could be symbiotes or freaking scrolls. I don't know, man.
Hey, Ledge, I gotta ask you.
Scroll ass cats.
If Disney was able to make a farmhand, what do you think it was going to be?
Oh my God. I don't know, man. That would be a phenomenal freaking movie. I mean, but the thing about it is, I don't know, does Disney do rated R movies? I don't know. Has anything rated R yet? Or
so they have one of their side companies, I think, does some R-rated stuff.
Maybe they could do something like that, a side company. But yeah, they would do a great job with the tech. They would have a lot of CGI in it, though, all those moving plants and stuff.
So Bueller, Deadpool.
Yeah.
Disney owns it, right?
Yep.
What do you think the next installment of Deadpool is going to be like?
I don't think they're going to change it. I think people think they're going to change it because they are Disney, but you don't change something that works, because the bottom line is money talks, and it's a company, and you have a board of directors, and you're not going to go to your board of directors and say, hey, we have this extremely successful franchise, but we want to change it and take a risk. They're all going to look at you and say, no, keep doing what you're doing. It might be toned down a little bit, but not as much as what people are thinking. It's not going to be a Disney, a princess film or whatnot. But I wanted to jump back on the Venom. I want to say one more thing. I want to get everyone's prediction for the box office for the first weekend of Venom, and I want to see if we're on base or not. So if everyone kind of wants to give their opinion on what the box office will be for Venom, I'm not myself particularly excited about the movie. Venom character has never really done it for me, but I have a feeling it's going to do very well.
So I'll give you my opinion right off the bat. I think it's going to do very well because Eminem is supporting it. I'm serious. I mean, Eminem released a single for the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And with the hype behind him, with his battle with Machine Gun Kelly, I think that's going to draw some attention. I'm a huge Machine Gun Kelly fan from Cleveland.
First weekend of October, not a horror movie, doesn't crack 80 mil.
I'm thinking about 60.
65, 70. Doesn't crack 80.
I'm not confident that Spider-Man's not in the movie. And I think he could very possibly show up as a cameo or right up at the end and no one knows about it. And if that happens, if I'm right and he does show up, because I don't think they can do a Venom movie without a Spider-Man. I think that's stupid. So I think they are going to put him in there and just no one knows about it. I think if they do that and it's cool, it will do real well. If they don't throw him in there, I think it's going to tank.
If they don't throw him in there, it'll do, like I said, 60 to 65 million the first week, and then it's going to start tanking. If he is in there, it can maintain some of that
It might pick up some steam. I still don't see it. I still don't see it having that kind of legs. Nothing about the movie has really jumped down as must see to me so far.
So Larry, you think that 100% that we're going to get the biggest we're going to be snowballed with Tom Hiddleston showing up as Spider-Man?
If I was directing that movie, I would put it in there for sure. I mean, it's a dumb move not to, right? Because the way that I understand that the deal with Marvel and Sony works is that Marvel can use Spider-Man, but Spider-Man can also still appear in those Sony movies. And so why not do that?
Well, I believe that Marvel Studios has final say on any production use of Spider-Man, though.
That may be true, but this is Venom, and if Venom does well, Marvel's going to want to capitalize on that. You know what I mean? Just like they want to capitalize when Deadpool did well.
I think the two kind of don't correlate as much. I think that Marvel's already getting as much out of Venom as they really want right now. As far as all these Venomized variants and Donny Cates' series is off the chain right now. They're putting out a new Venom miniseries every other week at this point. I think that they're cashing in on that already. If I was Marvel Studios, I would want nothing but Sony movies to fail. I would really want nothing more than those movies to fail, because the worse that they do, the more leverage that Marvel has to utilize their characters in the best way possible. And in the long run, that's only going to make them more money. I think that every time, when Sony puts out Amazing Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man 2, and Electro is no longer a viable option for page or screen, that all that does is hurt your IP. And the way that Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios has treated the IP, it seems that they're very happy to have their hands back on the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. It seems that they've got nothing but plans moving forward for that in the future. And I think that the Spider-Man villains hanging out over at Sony is something that's really hanging over their head that they'd like to be done with. And if Venom fails and falls flat on its face and they got to cancel Kraven, that's one step closer to everything being under the same umbrella again. So if I was Kevin Feige, I would not want people to go see this movie.
Yeah, I think this Venom movie, I'm thinking 45 mil. I'm thinking low side. October's not a real good month for movies. I think this is low side. More people are going to be churning and all that cash toward Jamie Lee Curtis and that new Michael Myers Halloween movie. I think Venom is going to be kind of forgettable as far as big numbers go. Sure, all the comic book fans and pop culture fans, they'll go see Venom because we know Venom, and but the mainstream people, they still going to be watching Michael Myers cut people.
So do you think this movie is going to do better or worse than opening week of Ant-Man? This is
Worse.
Venom.
Worse.
Okay. Yeah. I'm guessing this movie hits 125 in the first weekend.
Okay, I'm going 45 mil.
I'm thinking probably closer to probably around that 100 mil. I'm going to say 90 million. All right, yeah, we'll put it that way, because I think there's a lot of just casual Spider-Man fans out there. There's a lot of people like Tom Hardy. There's a lot of people who've wanted a Venom solo movie. I've talked to a lot of people I work with that are just looking forward to seeing Venom on the big screen. So I think it'll have a strong opening, especially for October. But I'm predicting it's going to be a Monday movie at best, so it will taper off very quickly.
Here's my question. Is Tom Hardy playing Eddie Brock?
Yes.
Yes. So Venom's whole existence with Eddie Brock was, we hate Spider-Man. That's the origin. He gets the suit. Mm-hmm. We hate Spider-Man. That's the tie that binds them two together. How can you do an Eddie Brock Venom movie without the hatred for Spider-Man, or at least some incorporation?
It's simple. Based on the synopsis for this movie, he's a reporter who just has to get to the bottom of it. And that's all the motivation he's going to have, because this is a Sony Spider-Man movie without Spider-Man in it. And I could not be less excited.
I'm looking forward to Halloween, though.
I'm more excited for Batman's dick than I am for the movie.
Look, people in the chat want to see Venom's dick. There's hashtag show me Venom's dick going on right now.
We need to see Kraven's dick too, but
apparently hashtag show Kraven's dick.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I mean, so the great thing is so many movies coming out. Will they be big? Who knows? But the most important thing to remember when you go see these movies, especially if you see them in the theater, and, you know, just have fun, you know, take your family if you got them and just enjoy the movie for what it is. And then afterwards we get to dissect it here on Comic Core, man, every Friday night.
I absolutely agree, Legend. But I think the second most important thing is then to go buy the book and then sell it on eBay for double the price.
True protectors.
And the third most important thing is to make sure you check out that Farmhand number 3.
Oh, Farmhand 3. I'm already pumped for 4. Oh, there it is. That's that creature. That got to read. It's a great read.
It's a good one.
Awesome.
Hashtag the flippers dicks.
Oh my God, is that what Comics Misexplained saying now?
No, that one's pure Chad.
You know he's saying
That's
some
your
salacious
Chad.
shit.
All right, that's your. I don't know, man.
Ledge, that's my one. That's my one.
That it's over now. It's all over.
So, let's talk about the best thing that was of the week, and that was Comics with Cold Ones. They had an amazing interview with one of our own, who is a creator. What did you guys check it out?
I watched it.
What did you think, Larry?
I think having a writer like Colin Bunn is amazing. I think the guest that JP has managed to wrangle into his show is phenomenal. I would very much love for us to be able to do that at some point. Get a well-known creator on here and shoot the breeze with us. And JP and Pope are showing how it's done. You know, I mean, they had Sora Song. You know, they've had Colin Bunn. They had Monty Moore, I think his name was. You know, and JP's not stopping. You know what I mean? Like, I can't wait to see who he brings on next.
Colin Bunn, for me, man, it was like a dream come true seeing that guy on JP's show. I've been reading him. The first one I got was Helheim, like years ago, like before LP, before the 2015, before all that crew, back in the G1s and the G2s, man. When Helheim came out, Jolie Jones, man, she was unknown. And, man, when that book and then Colin Bunn writing it, it was amazing. One of his only press titles, just like Six Gun. The Damned is another just freaking awesome one that happened. Like I guess that was his first one. Six Gun, all the Six Gun sequels, Brides of Helheim. He's got the Tooth. I got that hardcover back there. His work on Sinestro. I haven't read all Colin Bunn, but man, everything I've read by Colin Bunn has just been pure gold in my book.
So Bueller, LP brings up a good point about bringing some guests on, and I know we're talking about like flipping hosts and having a different crew every single week because the core is getting big. I mean, it is getting insanely way too big, and you know these guys on this panel right here have stuck it out the longest, and you know we also have Thanatos, we got JP, we got Pope Grammy, Chuck Load of Comics, Kyle Waka, we have Brandon Stawinski, TJ Watson, Jason Smith, Comics Misexplained, and Who Dat Comics, and the list continues to grow each and every single week. Spider Grandpa, we've got the Blasted and Stash It whole crew. We got half of them on here tonight. So we're going to try to bring on some guests. I was sitting at the comic book shop reading a book, and I overhear a conversation between two people, and they're like, did you see Sterling and what's the guy's name? You interviewed him.
Conway?
Yeah. They're talking. No, the devil guy.
Donnie Cates.
Oh, Donnie Cates. Yes.
The devil guy.
Not that guy again. Donnie. Oh, Donnie.
So they said that Sterling and Donnie Cates went out after that show and had a conversation, and Donnie Cates gave an interview about how they interacted. I'm just going to say it here first. Our Comic Core member made that happen. He brought it together.
I know that they went out later. We all went to the bar that night, and there was a bunch of creators and artists that were at the local bar across the street, and it was a party that one of the people were throwing, and they invited us to come over there. We didn't bring our camera or nothing like that, but they were all singing. They were all singing karaoke, and that was a lot of fun. So, do you want to? I'm assuming you're wanting to try to get some guests on the show, some creators and artists. Is that what you're referring to?
We're alluding to, yeah.
Okay. So there is a great supply of creators in the Portland area. There really is, just because we have Image Comics headquarters here. We have Dark Horse Publishing here. We have Oni Press Publishing here. We have an IDW, a branch of them. We have them here. And there's actually a artist and creator group that meets like every week, like downtown in Portland, that I've been informed of and stuff like that. And I ran into creators. So I think that's something we can put together. It depends on, I don't know if we're going to be able to get, Brian Michael Bendis on here.
Why not?
I don't want Drew to get
Make sure I'm off that night.
Yeah. Oh man, Drew's going to yell at me. But,
yeah, if Drew was on that night, that would be our last celebrity guest.
Hey man, I have to find a combination between blowing him over his X-Men run and kicking him in the nuts over his Superman shit. So one or the other.
I'm with you. He did great on the X-Men. I loved his X-Men run. Haven't read the Superman stuff, but I heard bad things.
Also,
save yourself the trouble.
But it's definitely doable. It's definitely something that we could get on the channel. There's definitely some people I contacted and have been in contact since that we might be able to get on the channel. So I think it'll be awesome to do that. I think, like you said, there's so many people that we have on the channel. We would have to, slim back if we have a guest like that on the channel, because it's going to be, obviously the show is going to be somewhat focused around them. And I'd like all of us to get the opportunity to ask them questions about what they're doing and stuff. So I think we would have to, one, coordinate the questions that we ask so that like C. Wood and myself aren't asking the same question, and then kind of go down the list. But I definitely think that's something we need to put some attention in and see what we can do. And everybody, all of us can find people, really. It's not just a few of us. All of us can reach out there. And you're going to a con next weekend.
Yeah.
And, if you play your cards right and just, trust me, first impression is everything, Chad. It really is when it comes to these guys.
That's why I'm going to let Jason from Comics Misexplained talk.
That's a good idea.
It really does make a big difference and stuff on how you present yourself and who you are and just what you're selling, because you're selling yourself in a very short amount of time. And you got to make it stick. You got to make it so they remember you, or they retweet what you're saying or something like that, and it's all about the first impression. I actually I put out a video of a panel that we covered at Rose City Comic Con, and it was like the Felicia Day one or whatnot. And there was another group that was there that was covering the Rose City Comic Con. And they had a press thing. They're called Mad Bros Media, and they got denied. They would not let them come in and film. And he dropped me an email and he said, "How did you get in there to record it?" And I told him the same thing. I said, "Man, it's all about the first impression, man. If you go in there with your shirt untucked and you look like you just rolled out of bed, they're going to tell you to take a hike. But if you walk in there and you're wearing a tie and you present yourself as you're supposed to be there. I fake it till I make it, and it makes a big difference, And they didn't question me one time. I looked like I was supposed to be there, and that made a big difference.
So that's for anybody that wants to get these guests on the show to improve your channel. Do the stuff that Bueller does. Take a look at what he's going on at his channel. And then you'll get some great ideas on how to improve your channel and improve your life as well.
That's some great advice right
your
there.
Life, I don't know about your life.
Great advice. Guys, can we check in the chat real quick? I see one of our viewers here posted, his name is The Great Legends Show. It says, "I don't say coming at you live at the dinner table." I don't believe that for 1 second. I believe that you come home from a hard day's work, your lovely wife puts some chicky parm on the table, and you say, "Legends family, I'm coming at you live for my
tonight I had hamburgers, mushrooms, and onions that were grilled and everything, or sauteed, and I took that food and I got back in front of the TV to play some Sea of Thieves."
Coming at you live from the couch.
I just Taco Bell drive-through doing the same thing.
Yeah, I love that Taco Bell, man.
So Bueller
that Taco Bell.
Bueller brings up a great point. I mean, our panel has grown, and we've got a lot of stuff coming up. And each week we want to bring the community something different. The goal behind this channel was to bring the community together, and I think we're doing a pretty decent job on that. But we are growing and growing and growing, and we want. I'm sorry, I'm blowing up. We're trying to get the opportunity to continue to grow this channel and promote each individual. Bueller and I had a conversation, and he made a great point. It's an opportunity for us to promote an individual, and that's what we want to do. So we're going to start next week with a rotating well, maybe not next week, the following week, because if anybody wants to join next week, it's going to be insane. I do have a special guest lined up. Paulie's the only person that kind of knows about it, but we're going to be down in Baltimore with none other than Drew, Spider Grandpa, and Pocan Joe, correct?
Yeah, Joey's going to be there too.
Comics Misexplained, and our special guest will be out there. It's going to be a party. We're going to have some fun next week. And then following week, we are going on a very, very new direction. And it's going to be a fun direction, a direction that's going to promote the community, promote positivity, show you guys and bring you what you want. And if you ever have any suggestions to something that you want to see, leave those comments in the channel. Leave us a comment to anybody on this panel, and they'll reach out and we'll make it happen. And I think with that being said, it's kind of a good time for us to call it a night. It's 11:39 where I am. I am a whole bunch of something. So let's start it off. He is the eyebrow-raising, jabroni-beating, pie-eating, step on the gas. He's going to kick your ass, none other than C. Wood 19. What's up?
I haven't done it yet tonight, so here you go. Well, trust my accuracy. Yeah!
Hey.
Got him right in the eye.
We have a special guest.
Wait, hold the phone.
Hold the phone. It's Sting. It's Sting.
From the Raptors.
We are almost out of time.
So, Jason, we're giving our closing statements. You want to give a shout out?
A shout out to what?
To anything. We're leaving the show.
Oh, shit. Yeah, man, dude. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Thanks for coming out. Miss Hustle left us, I think, right?
Dang.
Jeez. Man, our queen. She left us. She left us astray. It's okay, though. She's always has her back. She'll be here again.
No, she's in the chat.
She's in there.
She came back.
She in there.
Got cool. Double windows going on right now, probably with Reggie.
So
yeah, that's right.
Next week.
Yeah, next week we'll be in Baltimore Comic Con. Hopefully do some interviews. Maybe we can have some drinks with people afterwards. We need some business cards to give some writers and artists so they can hit us up whenever. Be partying with Drew Manchu, Old Man Grandpa. Dude, it's going to be awesome.
He didn't even call him Spider-Man. He just called him Old Man. So
Old Man Grandpa.
With that being said, C. Wood, give us a shout out. Take us home.
Oh my god.
That's a good one.
Hey, C. Wood, how about a hell yeah?
Hell yeah, Drew.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat.
He's back.
He's back.
Sorry, my thing froze up for like 2 whole seconds for some reason. Like I said, if you like awful internet, come see my channel every Tuesday at 7:30. We still try to do the live shows. So I hope to have a contest drawing this Tuesday live. My contest ends Sunday at midnight. So you have all of Sunday to participate in my contest if you'd like. Other than that, just been once again great to be with you guys, talk about penises and stuff. So thanks once again for having me on the panel, and have a good night.
The quarter chub of Blasted Sessions.
Oh my goodness. Thanks for that, Chad. That was beautiful. That's why they call you the king of segues. Fucking never. Yeah, shout out to everybody in the chat. Had a lot of fun hanging out, talking about wieners tonight. It was great. Yeah, I cannot wait for next weekend and Baltimore Comic-Con. Anybody in the area, hit us up. We are going to be getting silly. So come see that, and make sure you check us out live Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. Blast it or stash it. We're going to talk about all the books that came out this week, and I'm going to say more terrible things about Batman Damned. So make sure you tune in for that shit.
The guy that cheers the Hawkeyes, the man in the Midwest, the guy that survives tornadoes every single night, Midwest comic book man, Uncle Paulie.
Thanks, everybody in the chat. As always, you're the reason we do this. Had a great time tonight. It got all of us a chance to have fun with our double entendres and whatnot. Get all our jokes out of the way. Looking forward to next week's show, which is going to be completely crazy. Looking forward to Blast Your Stash It on Sunday. And check everybody out on the panel. They all do great stuff.
None other than the man that has a whole 2 channels, Niobe Comics, Rebel Gaming. He is up all the time. He is the man that brought you Niobe Comics LP.
Great show. Chat was live. I want to give a couple of shout outs to people that just kind of popped in. I see Samantha Branch, phenomenal artist. She's in the chat right now. I saw Bear Island Comics in the chat. TJ Watson still there, Area 51. So really good stuff. As far as me and what I'm promoting right now, it's Avani. We're doing our next Kickstarter in October. It's going to be the villain from Niobe issue 2 in her own book. We just got these beautiful silver prints made as limited edition for the next Kickstarter. Just got these. They're gorgeous. They're metal. My fingerprints are all over the back of this one. But we're really excited. We're going to have 4 different covers, and stay tuned for news on that.
Then none other than the 20-time world champion, 16-time tag champion, 58-time intercontinental champion.
And I've lost those belts a shit ton of times too.
It's not about how hard you fall. It's about when you get back up, legend.
Get back
Come
up.
on, Rocky. Give us something. What you got there, Adrian?
Well, thanks to everybody in the chat who stopped by, man. We had an awesome amount of folks chatting it up in the chat. A lot of great topics tonight, great books to talk about. And like Chad said, next week, it's going to be an insane party, man. So you definitely are going to want to see all of those guys together do what they do best, and that is entertain you all the way from the east to the west. And that's about it. Peace out and God bless, people.
Bueller.
So I really enjoyed tonight. I never thought I would talk penises with 7 guys. So I can mark that off my bucket list.
You got your glasses on, so you can
You're
see
quite excited about it, too.
Yeah,
I was very excited about penises.
It's better.
It's a topic that doesn't come up very often, and we hit the nail on the head. Anyway, I want to say thanks to everybody who was in the chat. I want to say thanks to everybody who joined me in my live stream I did before this. And thanks to the people that donated to my super chat for the first time in my live stream. I had 4 people gave me money, which is weird. So that was awesome. The channel's doing great. We picked up another 115 subscribers last week. So this is like 9 weeks in a row where it's been triple digits subscribers. And I couldn't ask for anything more. You guys were great. LP, awesome having you on here.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. I appreciate it. And I thought it was a great conversation tonight. I like getting different views. And you know what? We covered the penises, and that's what was important. And we got the job done.
So
WAN coverage.
So coming up, guys, in the next couple weeks, we're going to have Bueller hosting. We're going to have Legend hosting. We're going to have Paul Midwest Comic Book Man, LP. We're going to have Jason and C. Wood if we can convince him to.
We'll get him to. Don't worry.
JP's going to be coming back. We got Thanatos Comic in the house. Guys, it's going to be insane what we have planned for you. This is going to be something new to the community. It's going to bring it together. And then right around the corner, we have Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and all of that, where we're going to be doing a secret grab bag with the New York Warriors. Also, hopefully, maybe we can even entice the Blasted and Stashed crew to grow and join us as well. Check out. I just want some cheeky parm and maybe a amazing Spider-Man 129. But
talk to Dave about that shit.
So check out Seawood on Tuesday night, the hottest show in the game. We've got Blasted and Stashed on Tuesday. Larry every single day, all day, every day. Check him out on his social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, and the Legends Auction every other Tuesday night. We got one coming up next week. We also have the pay-per-view special, and if you want to join him on the sea. He always is playing the Sea of Thieves.
Always need some new pirates to join me, man. Sailing solo is really tough.
He also is going to be starting up the WWE 219K or what?
2K19. It's going to be a fun time.
It's going to be hot. And then Seawood, Bueller, the man that has the hottest channel in all of YouTube, the person that puts out the most content. I don't know if this man sleeps. He bleeds coffee. Literally bleeds coffee. And then we've got the newest member of the Corps. None other than Larry.
LP. Man of 1,000 nicknames. LP sexy. LP, I can't remember all the names. Well, LP's this way on the YouTube screen. Travis is this way on the YouTube screen.
But LP, thank you for joining us. I'm going to put everybody's links, sub them up. In the immortal words of Trinity Comics, check under your chairs, grab your subs. Everybody gets a sub. You get a sub, you get a sub, you get a sub, and
Midwest gets a sub.
Keep reading and keep watching. Have a good night. God bless. Peace out.
See.